Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam 81, and I'm back with you again. Oh my God, I feel a rant coming on right about now. Cruising through Bossip, from the Bossip staff. I came upon this story. It says race bait and switch. Julia Roberts. Let me let that sink in for you for a minute. Julia Roberts was picked to play Harriet Tubman. Let me let that sink in. Harriet Tubman by head executive, Hollywood executive, Julia Roberts. Get the fuck out of here. Let me just put this disclaimer in here. This does not represent any of the views, of thoughts, and opinions of YouTube. This video is clearly not for children. Okay, since they want to do that now. And if I offend anybody, it is what it is, because for the simple fact, shit needs to be said. And I'm going to get it off my motherfucking chest. So, with that being said, we're going to continue. Julia Roberts was movie exec's choice to play Harriet Tubman. Okay. Listen, okay, we've been subject to all types of white foolishness, and this is what it is. White foolishness in our lifetime. But never in our melanin-rich lives did we ever think that we would have had to deal with this. If you were to write down a list of 1,000 actresses who were least likely to play slavery abolitionists, excuse me, I apologize, Harriet Tubman, you still wouldn't come up with Julia fucking Roberts. Yeah, maybe she can play the mistress of the house. She could do that. Maybe she can play like a distant relative that comes from another plantation, you know, to meet their good old Uncle Charlie, but not Harriet fucking Tubman. Maybe she could play one of the people that helped her, Harriet Tubman, on the Underground Railroad. One of those, AKA what they call them, nigger lovers. Maybe she can play that, but that will probably be too squeaky clean for her squeaky clean image. Who knows? I don't know. But moving on. However, the porcelain skinned actress was a movie studio executive's #1 pick to play the leader of the Underground Railroad. Harriet, screenwriter Gregory Allen Howard told Focus Features the story in a recent interview about the 26 years that it took to get the film made. Wow. 2.5 decades. That's a long time. Harriet, which was set up at Disney 26 years ago, was my first assessment. When I got in the business, I wanted to tell these historical stories by turning them into entertainment. I didn't want to give a history lesson. I wanted to turn Harriet Tubman's life, which I studied in college, into an action-adventure movie. The climate in Hollywood, however, was very different back then. I was told how one studio head said in a meeting, "This script is fantastic. Let's get Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman." When someone pointed out that Roberts couldn't be Harriet Tubman, the executive responded, "It was so long ago, no one is going to know the difference." Two films really changed the climate in Hollywood to allow Harriet Tubman to be made. which, excuse me, when 12 Years a Slave became a hit and did a couple $100 million worldwide, I told my agent, you can't say this kind of story won't make money now. Then the Black Panther really blew the doors open. Fucking Julia Roberts. Gonna tell my kids this is Julia Roberts. Okay. I read this as Julia Roberts was suggested by Harriet Tubman to play studio exec, and it made more sense. How? How did it make sense? I'm sorry, but I'm just imagining Julia Roberts screaming to freedom in blackface. These are some of the Twitter comments. You know, Twitter questions. Shout out to Deanna Urban. Yeah, I mean, because we always got questions. Much love and appreciation to you, sister. May you be blessed in all your endeavors in this life and the next. Anyway, that was a side note. Suffice to say, Twitter is having a good time. Come on, get out the way. God winging at the adverse nation. But seriously, even back in the 90s, how devilish is it to think the black audiences would happily accept Julia Roberts in blackface? What would the movie be called? Harriet I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through this. Pretty free women. The pelican brief enslaved. Flee slave love. The runaway bride sequel. Sigh. Oh my God. They wanted this woman to play one of the most iconic, revolutionary, with today's standards from the FBI watch list, will call a black extremist. One of the most greatest heroes, superheroes of our pastime in the black community. You know, I don't get it. Excuse me if you hear my cat in the background. She wants to be audible today. But you want this woman who played Pretty Woman, this woman that has never really played in a movie where she had to get dirty in the sense of, you know, righting wrongs or saving lives or, you know, I don't know. I mean, I bet you she puts grapes in her potato salad. I don't know. Maybe that's not a dig. That's just a like I said in my other video. That's just a stereotype. It doesn't make it right, but nevertheless, it may be true. But let's think about this for a minute. They wanted her, Julia Roberts, to play Harriet Tubman. Oh, I could think about 1,100,000,000 actresses that would be better than her. Angela Bassett, Nika Rose, Viola Davis, any actress, any black actress that played in any of the Tyler Perry movies and plays. Let's start there. You know, and this is why I'm so upset with our black, quote unquote, black, token, bootlicking, bootleg ass, movie, people that's in a position to actually make movies that really matter. Like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry and, you know, Spike Lee. So on and so forth. I think our genre in history has been plagued with a lot of more black exploitation films, and there's nothing wrong with them. They are some of the greatest films, some of the most interesting films ever to be made. Nevertheless, when it comes to something as serious as Harriet Tubman, um, you have had got to find an actress that will reach the depths of their soul to bring this woman, this character, this she's not even a character, she's a person, to life. Um, to feel the realism of the struggle that she had to endure, and the decisions that she made. One of her greatest quotes was, "I could have freed 1,000 more slaves if they knew they were slaves," which is very real and still very, very, very relevant to this day. If you're not familiar, because a lot of us walking around here as slaves, a lot of us walking around here, I'm just going to get in the fit in. It's a lot of us walking around here today that chooses to not accept our melanin. For all intents and purposes, the one thing that the Most High gave us, the very thing that shapes a lot of things in this world. You can search the world and find the most beautiful, blackest, melanated, rich, black goodness in the world. But it's often shunned. And even in Hollywood, why should I be surprised? And let me just say this about Disney. Disney and the Disney Corporation has always and forever been racist. They have always and forever have been associated with the cult, being in the cult, children disappearing at Disney, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really going to get into that in this video, but just know Disney ain't right. If you go back and look at some of Disney's old catalogs, what was the name of that Disney one? The Song of the South or something like that. Back in the day, they had this, and it was a black guy that was dressed up like a slave, and this nigga was just, hooping and hollering, and really playing to the stereotype. I mean, if you go look in Dumbo, the crows represent us. And the funny thing about that, even though the black crows represented us in the Dumbo movie, they were all played by white actors. We wasn't even good enough to play a bird. I want you to grasp that in a Disney movie. You understand? So, I'm not surprised by this shit. Anytime they made the gods of Olympus and that whole movie with all the characters was white and shit like that, and they had fucking what the nigga that played Gladiator to play one of the fucking gods, Osiris or something like that. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is y'all doing? Like, they spit and perpetuated their whole fucking existence on the downfall and just wiping, and that's basically what it is, wiping out black people, black greatness from history. If they want to make a movie about it, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see no black person in there. I don't know. They say Black Panther opened up doors. I'm not impressed. They say 12 Years of a Slave opened up doors. I'm not impressed, nigga. Because before 12 Years of a Slave and before that other movie, we had Roots. We had The Color Purple, which were done by white people. So, The Color Purple was done by a white person. So, I'm not surprised, but Julia fucking Roberts, I'm like, yo, why would she even agree to some shit like that? Like, yo, I know you got a black friend somewhere. I'm like, girl, no, don't do it. Somebody. It can't be all yes men in Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood is definitely satanic and is very depraved and stuff like that. And people want to get into it. You get into it at your own detriment. I mean, that's why we got actors like Denzel Washington that would never lay his hands or his lips on a white woman. This is not a racist rant. I'm not racist. It's only considered racist when the same shit that's been done to us is being put back on them. Black people can't be racist. And to be racist, you have to have some semblance of power. You have to be able to get up and change something like laws, stock prices and shit like that. As Baba Dick Gregory said, may he rest in eternal peace. You know, that's when you have power. And that's the standard. And it doesn't change until we change the standard, the people. For the most part, this is just a rant. This is a rambling rant. It really doesn't have any point to it, but I hope that in listening to this, you can understand that I am not for this shit. That Julia Roberts playing fucking Harriet Tubman shit. I am not for none of it. None of it. I'm not here for none of it. That's why I don't even go to the movies no more. Like, thank God that fucking Disney had the presence of mind to actually put a Asian fucking character as Mulan. But let's not forget, when they did the animated movie with the Disney princesses, they made fucking what the fuck, the one that was Polynesian, they made her look fucking light skinned. And she's not. She's a nice tan, a nice gold, brownish. You know, they made her look like a motherfucking angel cake when she should have looked like a nice southern cornbread. With a little bit of tint in it. But, and then what they did to the Princess and the Frog, like earlier this year or last year, what they did with her. You know, it was so much outrage that they had to bring her back to her nice, rich, chocolate, melanin self. You understand what I'm saying? It's all whitewashing. It's all whitewashing. You know what I'm saying? In a planet where, you know, melanated people outnumber people that's not melanated. It's like 10 million to a couple 100 billion people, and these other people that control what we watch, control what we, you know, consume, control what we, you know, buy, control everything. There's something wrong with that. Why can't we have equal shares for equal parts all around the board? But that's still a battle in progress. And before this video get too super long, I just want to say that your blackness is everything, regardless if you choose to call yourself black or not. I don't believe that we're black. I believe the Boule Jesse Jackson had a hand in pushing that fucking narrative. We are not a color. Okay? We're not. We're not colored people. You know, for me to admit that you're black is to admit that you're a colored person. When you're a person of color, if that makes sense. So, please drop down in the comments. Please subscribe, like, and share. If you don't like this video, I expect a whole bunch of thumbs down from it. It really doesn't bother me. The thumbs down, the thumbs up really don't do nothing to me. That's why I don't turn it off. It is what it is. I don't turn the comments off because it is what it is. People have a right to express themselves regardless of how they feel, whether you agree with me or not, or you somewhat agree with me, or whatever the case is. It is what it is. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a so-called quote-unquote like other people try to do. Oh, I'm conscious. I'm black. No, I'm just aware. of a lot of shit that ain't right. You know, I'm not gonna put a label on it, but I just see shit and I'll speak on it.